Welcome back to the channel. It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and the latest Starfield patch just hit Steam. It is currently only available on this platform as a beta test, and I've just tried it out. Along with this test, there was a comprehensive changelog posted to the official Bethesda website, and this looks good, but I am seeing mixed results, at least on my side, which I'll explain. Thanks again for your awesome support for my Starfield uploads. In case you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are greatly appreciated. No chapters today, as this one is quick and to the point, and let's get it rolling. Okay, first things first, again, this is currently a beta and available only on Steam, but the basics to install it are really pretty simple. The beta is a separate build from your main save and won't affect it, and all you need to do to download it is go to your game Steam page and look on the right-hand side. Locate that gear icon, press it, scroll down to properties, and once the pop-up appears, look on the left-hand side to see betas. Press that Betas tab and it will show a drop-down by beta participation. Select Beta. I know it sounds kind of funky, and Steam will prompt you to begin the download, which is only about 2 gigs. After that, fire up your game and launch it as normal, but you will be on the beta build. Here are the highlights, beginning with NVIDIA DLSS support, which brings into the fold not only Deep Learning Super Sampling, DLSS, but also Deep Learning Anti-Aliasing, NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, and DLSS Frame Generation, which is only available on 4000 series cards, but I don't see that mentioned here in the patch notes. And FYI, and it's important to know that in order to get DLSS Frame Gen to work, you will need to disable VSync in your game display settings. And if you are currently using something like Pure Dark's DLSS mod, which I am, make sure to disable it as you enter the game by pressing the End key and then turning all of that off. Other performance and stability fixes included some GPU performance optimizations and improved renderer threading model, improving CPU usage, and both of these changes are aimed at higher-end systems. There were also various other stability and performance improvements as well. Now, as someone that has a pretty stout PC setup, I've always felt that Starfield ran on the conservative side for something like, say, my setup, which was on a 3090 GPU and has just recently been upgraded to a 4090. And overall, the beta seems to have pushed the game a little harder and brought out a little more performance. At least it feels that way to me. Gameplay fixes are also here. We can now eat food placed in the world. Stealth is now more forgiving. Issues that would prevent players from firing their weapons are being addressed. NPCs not wearing clothes, I know that one's a player-based favorite, is now being addressed. Fixes to skill progression, stopping is being handled. Mouse movements being choppy is being tackled. Interesting one there. And then the two biggies, home ships being lost and ship services technicians being MIA, are both included with this list of fixes. Moving on, and graphics are seeing a bevy of changes, including adjustments to ambient occlusion on ultra-wide resolution, optimized initial shader compilations at startup, and the ability to adjust brightness and contrast in the actual display settings menu. Now, the community has brought up so many issues at launch, like missing DLSS support, lack of a map, etc., and this was another major omission, and you will see it now in the display settings. HDR brightness adjust is also being tested for Xbox and Windows 11, which, unfortunately for me, I'm still partial to 10 and therefore did not give it a proper test. Who knows? Maybe someone out there who's on Windows 11 and tries out the beta can let us know if HDR is now working properly. We also saw various visual issues with the FOV slider now being addressed, lighting, shadows, terrain, and vegetation seeing a number of minor issues being corrected, along with some other visual inconsistencies. The game, by the way, looks stunning in certain scenarios, and I was happy with how New Atlantis was looking the moment I booted up the game. There's still some artifacting and shadows not lining up, but it's good to see the visuals receiving some much needed love. And now on to the moment you've all been waiting for, the main event, quest and bug fixes. And by the way, there are 10 of them in total, starting off with all that money can buy. fixing a rare issue, not allowing players to sit down in order to begin the negotiations with Musgrove. Blast Zone saw a fix being deployed to the hard rocks that needed to be cleared out by the island. Echoes of the Past, so this is the Constellation main quest line, saw a fix to the Grillaba Queen, sometimes not being able to be reached during the Secure the Shuttle Bay portion of the mission. That's a big one there. Eye of the Storm. Ooh, I'm constantly reading issues with the Crimson Fleet faction quest line. Fixed an issue where players' quest progression would be blocked due to a missing docking prompt. By the way, that's a great faction quest line there, and hopefully it will now be corrected. Grunt Work also saw a minor fix, which was situational, with players' progression being blocked if Supra et Ultra, so that's the Vanguard questline, was completed while returning to the lodge during High Price to Pay. But wait, there's more. No Sudden Moves saw a fix to the scow ship entrance door not being opened. Operation Starseed fixed an issue where the exit key would not appear. I can see where that would be a problem. Sabotage fixed an issue where David Barron could potentially not be found. Short-Sighted saw a minor fix where when speaking with Vladimir, players would become control locked. And finally, the Heart of Mars is receiving a fix that prevented them from not being able to mine the Heart of Mars. Alright, that last bit was a lot to go through, and hopefully a fix for whatever quest blocker you are seeking is a part of that list, and I will of course leave a link to the patch notes down in the video description. Now, some really quick thoughts on that DLSS implementation before I sign off. First off, it should have been there at launch. AMD exclusivity, could Bethesda do it, that whole thing? It is what it is, but Frank Azor over at AMD said there was nothing holding back Bethesda from installing it into the game. Again, it is what it is, but it seems to be here finally. However, it's not working correctly in the beta, at least not for me. It seems to always default to preset settings and doesn't allow for any manipulation or changes. It needs more controls and the ability to save those changes instead of the standard config it always seems to default to. As far as the results of that DLSS implementation, I'm seeing a bit of an FPS bump. I mean, it's not crazy. It's not jumping from 45 up to 120 FPS, but it is noticeable, although I did go to several areas of the game that really bogged down, like Aquila City, like New Atlantis, and these are still spots in these locations where my PC rig really starts chugging, trying to keep that FPS up, but it still takes a huge hit, and I'm sure you know what areas of the game I'm talking about. Hopefully BGS can get those areas optimized and more detailed controls installed to the beta for better DLSS tuning. As always, I look forward to reading your feedback in the comments section below. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments, shares are of course greatly appreciated. All my socials can be found in the video description. Shout out to the now over 179,000 of you that have stuck with me and hit subscribe. And a special thanks goes out to my Patreon supporters and to those of you sending over those much appreciated YouTube super chats. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.